Hello.
Hello.
Hey, where'd you go, man?
Yeah, I lost you, dude. I'm sorry. I actually am in kind of straits, and I had my boss come by and give me some money. And right when we were talking, he didn't know where I was, so he called me, and I needed the money real bad, so I had to click off, and then I lost you.
Gotcha, no problem. Yeah, we'll pick it back up. So your dad was he said highway to hell.
My dad just had these stupid sayings. Well, they're stupid sayings, you know. I mean, I basically, to reiterate what I already said, is I asked him where he was at, and he said he was on the highway to hell. And my response to that was, "Oh, that means you're coming home." And I hardly ever saw my dad when I was a kid, so I mean, we got a laugh out of that, anyways. And that's where I basically got the idea that I can insinuate things, and you know. And that's pretty much where that's at. Anyways, maybe on further on. So basically, I had a bunch of titles and stuff. A lot of it had to do with my dad, and you know, because he was kind of trying to raise me and all that. And I used to bounce things off of him and stuff. He had a hobby that was he's an expert in it. At a very young age, I've been really young, and I became a pretty accomplished shooter. I'm pretty good, and anyways, to make a long story kind of halfway short, I got in an accident, a swing accident, when I was 14 on Mother's Day night. It was about 6 o'clock at night, and it was pretty bad. There was a round disc off of one of those wire rolled crates, you know, the spools that hold wire.
Yeah.
And they're made out of plywood, the round plywood, and they have holes, like 5 or 6 holes in the center for the spools to go through. And I am being a kind of a smart ass. I weaved a rope through that, and it was a lobster rope, because my uncle was in lobster traps and stuff. Anyways, I tied a rock on the end of this line, and I threw it over the top of a tree, way up in a doggone tree that was overhanging a creek. And it was pretty good. I jumped on this thing swing, and it gave me a lurch, and the doggone board, the seat, went between my legs, and I went all the way down to the bottom of this creek, and I nicked a boulder, and that shoved that seat right in, well, you know where.
Yeah, ouch.
And anyways, the injury was really, really bad, and I was straight blood, and it was pretty gory. And I ran up to the house, and my parents didn't realize how bad it was or anything. And you know, I went to the bathroom and I urinated straight blood, not urine mixed, but straight blood. And so they put me in the bed, of all things, instead of taking me to the hospital or anything. You know, I didn't have a whole lot of money then. And so they put me in the bed, and my dad actually had to leave on the trucking thing the next morning. And he said, well, if he's swollen in the morning, you need to take him to the hospital. And so I slept that night, you know, and I was pretty much in shock. I was pretty pale. And I woke up in the morning, and I looked under the sheets. And there they were. My balls were about the size of a good-sized softball, huge. And they were black. I mean, they were absolutely black. And my mom freaked out. She took me down to the hospital. They threw me in a wheelchair right away, and they sent me in. They did an exploratory surgery, and they inserted a catheter right out of my stomach. I've never seen anything like it before. They put a tube in my stomach right around where it would be, let's say, the appendix would be low, and into my bladder, and they drained my bladder into a bag on my leg, and that was because I was floating. My organs were floating in urine. The backup, there was no urethra tube, and this is a pretty sick part of it. But anyway, make it, and so we have to send you to UCLA. And so, rather than put me in an ambulance or anything like that, my mom and called my dad, and my dad came back and drove me to UCLA Medical Center, and it was pretty bad. And I got in there, and they put me in. It ended up being in a PICU unit, and they put like all kinds of stuff in me, doggone IVs and tubes and just all kinds of shit. And I basically went through hell, I didn't know what was happening most of the time. I was higher than shit. They gave me drugs that were just whoa. But anyways, all these other kids were I actually had to be isolated from everybody else, but everybody had to go through my place to get to the PICU unit. And my room was down the hall, and it was real cold. The environment was really cold. I couldn't figure out why, but I found out later why. That's because germs don't multiply as fast in cold environments. But my room was tiled on the floor and tiled on the walls, and the temperature was just it was just really chilly. And but I kept seeing these people walk by. People I think I saw from TV. A couple of football players. I think a couple of Rams guys walked by. And then I got the idea what was really going on. They were going down seeing the kids in the doggone cancer wing, and they were, fighting for their lives. And it was the nurses, they saw that my parents weren't around. They couldn't figure out why my parents was not there with me when I was so bad off. And I didn't know this at the time, but my mom could not handle it. She saw me, and she just couldn't handle it. So my dad kept her away from me, and the doctor said to keep them away from me, and which was kind of, I think, a mistake in the long run. But anyways, I had done all this stuff, and they would keep telling me how bad off I was, and to think about, what I wanted to say to my parents. They wanted me to write a note to my parents and stuff, but I was having none of that, I was like, hey, I'm 14 years old, I can't do this like this, and I'm by myself, and I thought, it was just a bad situation. I yelled down to the nurse's station. I said, does anybody know a rock star? Because, I had a lot of songs that I had started, but I never really completed any of them, and just a few. And I wanted to, how would you, if you will, scratch the earth before I left it. I wanted my words to continue on even though I was gone. I already pretty much gave up. I actually took things that was around me in my surroundings. The doctor says, you're only young, but you're going to die if you don't start taking care of yourself. And he handed me this bottle of peroxide. And that's how I got introduced to peroxide. I didn't know what to do. I was young. I didn't know how to clean wounds and all that stuff. The nurses came in twice a day to clean my wounds, but, they were it was pretty nasty. So I literally learned how to take a bath and hydrogen peroxide and, clean my wounds from the oozing and all that. And it was just nasty as hell. And anyways, I took actually those lines, I took things that were happening around me in my environment, and I put them into the songs that were done from Highway to Hell all the way through, most all the songs. I can, I actually got the albums here, and I can tell you which ones I did. I did Highway to Hell, Girls Got Rhythm, Walk All Over You, Touch Too Much, Beating Around the Bush, Shot Down in Flames, Get It Hot, If You Want Blood, You've Got It. Okay, now Love Hungry Man and Night Prowler are both Bonds. Those were done those were done not of my doing, but I did not write these all complete. The Highway to Hell, Vaughn did the opener, like Susan Drinker on a One-Way Ride, whatever that was in the beginning.
And you're talking about Bon Scott, the lead singer who passed away from ACDC?
Right. Correct.
Okay.
And Girls Got Rhythm, and it's just, you know, a lot of stuff. Like a Touch Too Much. I put Touch Too Much as the title that I put, but Vaughn went with more. It seems like a touch too much, and the opener to that song was it was one of those nights when you turn out the lights and everything comes into view. I actually took that from a friend of mine in grade school. I went over to his house, and his dad had put in a game room. He's kind of a wealthy kid, and they had phosphorescent lighting, or what do you call those tubes? Fluorescent lighting?
Ultraviolet lights?
Yeah, fluorescent lighting on the roof of the room, and you had to turn out the lights to be able to see the games, because the games were lit up, and if you left the lights on, the reflection of the lights behind you, you couldn't see the game. And he walks into the room, and he goes, turn out the lights, and everything comes into view, and he clicked out the lights, and I go, bam, that's what I'm looking for. And he's like, what? And I go, no, that's what I'm looking for, an opener, that's an opener. And he didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, look, no, I write songs. I'm looking for an opener, and that's the opener I want to use. I go, and his dad goes, what are you talking about? And I go, if you ever hear a song that starts out, if it was one of those nights when you turn out the lights and everything comes into view, you'll know that it's my stuff. And basically, what's really funny is that I actually heard that guy talk on the radio about that years later. But anyways, I'm sorry for going back and forth over this stuff, because it's just, I'm trying to bring it out of memories, and
sure.
Realize it's 34 years ago since I'm doing this, since I did this. I was only 14, and I'm trying to memorize most of this stuff, but bringing it out is kind of hard.
Yeah.
It was a bad situation.
Sure.
Like, let's see, there's like it's kind of funny, because the stuff at the beginning was actually done at the end. Everything is all mixed up. It was not like it was done in chronological order as Bon and I did this stuff. It's all switched around. It's the Highway to Hell was in the first 2 or 3 songs that we did. Okay. Hell's Bells was not done until about the 5th or 6th song that we did. But yet it was the album that was one of the last albums, one of the later albums. It was on one of the later albums. And I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of things. I don't want to tell everything I have, because I don't want to ruin it. I mean, there might be other things coming up later.
Sure.
Like Hell's Bells, I wrote pretty much the whole thing. I put out that I wanted the bells, and how I wanted them to ring, and how I wanted the guitar to start out, and I wanted to have an Indian beat to it, you know. And then I just kind of left it up to them. Like there was one line in there that I had a line, but I didn't have a song. I didn't designate a song for the line, and the line was, I'll give you black sensations up and down your spine. If you're into evil, you're a friend of mine. I do that more because of the rhyme and the fact that we were talking a lot about the devil at the time. Because I told Ron, I said, there's 4 things that you're going to basically do on rock and roll. I said, you're going to talk about sex, drugs, basic rock and roll, and the devil. I mean, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, that's pretty much where it was at that time. And there was things like, there's actually a lot about the conversation that I had about Hell's Bells, and I told him, I said, the worst thing in the world that ever could happen to you, Bon, is that I live and you die. And he laughed. He goes, well, you'll live. He goes, don't worry about it, you'll live. Because I was up out of the bed. I wasn't even in the bed. I didn't even want to be in that bed because they told me that it might be my deathbed, and I thought that sucked, and so I was up, and kind of jumping around a little bit, and so I had a lot of energy. I was, just a kid, and I told him, I said, if these bells are tolling for you, I'm going to be really pissed. That's not what I wanted. And what I kind of was into was a couple of different types of styles of writing. I was into what I called at that time shock rock. I wanted to shock you. I wanted to shock you with my lyrics. I wanted you to talk about them. I wanted people to notice them dramatically. Because in Highway to Hell, I had a friend. In Highway to Hell, I had a friend. His name was Colin Clayton. He was just a childhood friend. And he used to always run around the schoolyard. He said, look at me, look at me, look at me. And what he wanted was attention. He'd always be doing something really stupid, hanging upside down, spinning around in the bars, just being stupid. And it was actually funny. A lot of the stuff was actually kind of comical. So he was kind of a joker. And but I realized he was starved for attention. And so what I did was I used the idea that you wanted attention, and I wanted attention for the stuff, the music of the song. So what I did, said, hey, Mama, look at me. And then I referred to it as I'm on my way to the promised land. And then the next chorus was I'm on the highway to hell. Therefore, I just insinuated that the promised land was hell. And, of course, they picked up on that right away, and that was a good thing, because I wanted it to be talked about and controversy, and I knew that if the churches picked it up and made a big stink out of it, then there would be advertisement. It would be like free advertisement. The idea behind all my songs is I wanted Bond to turn over. Look, this is 1979. I was out of my mind. Okay, who would ever think of a band being able to even come close to turning over $1 billion? That's where I was at. I was like, I'm out in La La Land. Not even on rational earth at all. But I was like, this will be $1 billion. And it's like, but as I kept going down the list of my songs and my song titles, Ron started like, whoa, some of this stuff is like really good. And I'll give you for instance, we started talking about stuff. And I'm going to jump ahead a little, and I'm going to jump back, and so you're going to have to sort this out. I said, well, I listed off probably about 9 titles, and I said, why don't you give me a title? I want to hear one. What do you got? What do you got? He goes, I don't want to do this. He goes, this is your day, man. I want you to do it. He's trying to make me feel like everything I said was really important. And the guy was a genuine, really nice guy. He understood my position and where I was coming from. He knew my situation. I was swearing every third word, and he did tell me I had a foul mouth. But I said, why do you have a foul mouth? I said, well, my parents aren't here, and look at my situation, and they don't even care about me. I'm here by myself, and the only person I have to visit me is you. And I don't even know you. So basically, it went down like that. He kind of understood where I was coming from. He knew I was scared, and I didn't know what to do. And, I had apprehensive and just all kinds of nervousness, and what the hell? I could die. I could drop dead, go to sleep, and not wake up, and that scared the shit out of me, really. But I wanted him to title a song, and he wouldn't do it. So I thought to myself real fast, how am I going to trick him into making a song title? So what I did was I said, Bon, what do you tell a girl when you really want to fuck her? He looked shocked. He's like, I just said the swear word again. And he looked at me and he goes, let me put my love into you. And I said, that's the name of the song. That's how I got him to name the song. And right away I knew that I wanted it to be a controversial type song. I wanted it to be hard. I wanted it to be coarse. And so what I immediately thought of was was, don't you worry, don't you struggle, don't you fight, don't you worry, because it's your turn tonight. Now, by doing that, what I did was I just insinuated or played out, because why would a girl struggle? Why would she fight? Unless she was being raped, okay? So basically I put that into the song so that it would draw a lot of attention, a lot of shock. I mean, that's pretty much where I was at with that. Bond's line was, what was it? Let me lay it on the line, because I think that was, I don't remember exactly, recall exactly. I'd probably have to listen to the song to listen, to re-listen to it, to hear it. I mean, something about laying it on the line and all that, because I just insinuated, I just told them that I just insinuated that this girl's you're raping this girl, So, I mean, it's like, so I basically did that stuff, did those kind of songs and lyrics in the songs to grab the attention of, let's put it this way, let's call 20% of the population religious.